Fear Street Part 2, 1978 is directed by Lee Janiak, and this is the second movie in the Fear Street trilogy that Netflix is releasing. The setting of this film is 1978 in Shadyside. We focus on a group of students who are at Camp Nightwing. They're all participating in activities. There's some tension between some of the students. Anyways, one character gets possessed by a witch unexpectedly, and he starts to create chaos. He murders people savagely, and it basically becomes a night of survival for these students. So, I liked part one. I reviewed part one last week. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was a slasher film with a creative take on it, and I appreciated it for that. So, I was looking forward to part two, and part two has Sadie Sink from Stranger Things, so that also made me excited to see it. So, the question is, what did I think of Fear Street Part 2, 1978? I'll start off by saying that I thought part one was a little bit better, but I still had a fun time with part two. Part two is a decent slasher film that is a throwback to the 1970s film, and it utilizes its R rating pretty hard. I said that for my review of part one, but this one, the kills are gruesome and they're brutal, and some of the kills had me shook. But if you're an if you're a fan of blood and gore and hard rated R content, you'll definitely dig this. So it doesn't fail in that compartment. The best performance in this movie is Sadie Sink. Now, I mentioned before that Sadie Sink was in Stranger Things. She gives a really good performance in this film. Her character is sympathetic in the beginning, and as the movie goes on, you get to see how her character changes. And I appreciated her arc in this film. Everyone else is good in the film, but to me, the MVP here is Sadie Sink. She was really good. I also want to commend this movie for having good direction. Lee Jenny actually did a good job directing the first film and this one. I thought she did a good job with the suspenseful moments, the horror scenes, and basically recreating the 1970s. It had a good atmosphere. The soundtrack, once again, it was really impressive. I liked all the songs, and I thought overall she did a really good job. The only complaint I have with the direction of this film is that it does take a little while to get going. So the first half isn't bad, but I did thought it had some pacing issues. And I kind of wish we got the plot going a little bit sooner. But once the plot kicks in and it goes onward, it's a lot of fun. Another thing that's lacking in this film that part one had, but this film didn't have, is the creativity. This is just a slasher film that is a throwback. So it's like Friday the 13th, but in my opinion, this is better than Friday the 13th. I'm frankly not a fan of that movie at all. But but it's still fun. It's not really much else to say. It's a movie on Netflix that's currently streaming, and you could watch it if you're a 70s or 80s horror fan. You might find things to appreciate in this one. And if you liked part one, I think you'll like part two. So I'm going to give Fear Street Part 2 in 1978 a 6 out of 10. I thought it was decent. I did like part one more, but I still had fun with this one. I'm definitely curious to see part three when it comes out because the preview that they gave at the end of part two for part three looks really cool. So I'm excited to see how this trilogy ends. I would give Fear Street Part 2, 1978, a 6 out of 10. So thank you guys for watching my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it and will take it into consideration in regards to checking out this film or not. My next review will be for the show Loki. The finale for that show is tomorrow, and I'll have a review for you guys soon. So thank you guys again. Make sure to like this review, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, share the review if you want, and I'll see you guys next time. So take care. Have a good one.